Yeah, can you tell the story about you being a teenager and your friend and up on the roof in that hole?
Yeah. So we moved to Vegas in '95, and then I had a really close group of friends. We were all partiers and drinkers, and we just hung out basically every day and got wasted. And that's just kind of the way it was. And one night, my buddy Mo and I were up on his roof drinking and smoking weed, and um, he asked me what I wanted to do with my life, and that's a pretty strange question, I think, for any kid to ask, but particularly the group I was in. Like, what do you want to do with your life?
Yeah,
It
what are
just
you, like
seemed,
13, 14 years old or something like that?
yeah. We're probably 15,
15?
but that would seem like something you would ask someone that's going to school, doing
Yeah,
well, like
right.
pushing
Yeah.
themselves. Like, yeah, what do you want? What do you want to do with all this?
How
And
are you
we're
gonna,
over here
Kevin?
just like,
How are you gonna change the world in your life? Yeah,
yeah. So that's what it was like him asking me. It was like some adult just came in, and it was so far out of left field. And for him too, to ask me that question, I still just it baffles me to think why he said that and why he asked me that.
yeah,
So I was in shock for a minute. I'm like, I don't know how to respond to that question.
yeah.
What do I want to do with my life? And then, I had never actually told anyone about this dream I had, or I wouldn't even necessarily call it a dream, but I was always fascinated with fighting. I loved martial arts. I loved Bruce Lee. I loved watching
Mhm.
boxing fights. And I always thought about how great it would be to do, not great, just like how cool it was. I was like, oh man, I want to do that one day. Even just to go and train at a gym to me was like, would have been the most amazing, the coolest thing in the world. But it was so far from possible in my mind. The
Yeah,
realm of possibility was like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, there's no way you're ever going to do that. And I just blurted it out. I told him, I was like, I want to fight one day. And I thought he was going to just die laughing because I'd never told anyone. And to see me now, you'd think, oh yeah, that's normal. What's the big deal? But to
yeah,
know me back then, I was very small, very very skinny, shy. I didn't speak ever. I mean, I'm a very quiet person now, but I'm like the loudest, most talkative person in the world compared to how I used to be.
yeah,
I'd say like 2 words a day, if that. And again, just like I that was so far from the way that I was and the person that I was. So I expected him to laugh at me, and he didn't laugh at me. And instead he said, "I think you should do it." And just for that moment, I was like, "Well," in my brain, maybe it was like that realm of possibility. Like just the fact that he said that, like maybe I should do it. Like just it
like
was like 1% of possibility,
he just gave you
and it
permission, like
right
to
to even think about it.
even think about it, right?
Yeah, it's like he opened the door and he said, like look in there.
Yeah,
I'm like, whoa! I didn't even know. I didn't know I could think about it. I didn't
right.
even know that was possible to think about it. And that was how he planted that seed in me of just the possibility. It wasn't like he planted the seed of me doing. He planted the seed of the fact that it was possible to even attempt it or to even think or dream about it. That was what he did. Um, but from that, it was a momentary thing, and then it's like back to drinking, back to partying, forget about all that, and never think about it again. But from that point forward, every time I would see a fight, it would spark that seed again.
Mhm.
Like, hey, you could go try it. Why don't you go try it? Why don't you go try it? But it was always, well, I'm too old. I thought I was too old when I was a teenager. It was, and just the lifestyle that I lived. I was like, what are you gonna do? Go and play around with this for a couple weeks, and what is really the point of that? Like, you're not gonna do anything with it. Even if you do go do it for fun, you're not gonna do anything with it. So it's almost like it was a waste of time. That's what I told myself
Yeah,
it
right.
was. I rationalized. I made myself feel better for not going after this, and really giving into fear, because it was all about fear. I was afraid that I wouldn't be good enough. I wouldn't be strong enough. People would think it was ridiculous. They'd laugh at me. And I'd fail anyway. So what's the point of going through all that for what? Like, what's the point? You want me to tell you this whole story?
Yeah, man.
About where that went to? Okay.
I think it's it's sad, man. But the reality is this is the stuff people need to realize, because it happens to so many people, and they don't take the cues. They don't take the life cues. And there's a why in the road. There's a why in the road, and they can have that choice, and they can go in a positive direction. But that's a fucking choice that you have to make. And I think you clearly paint that in that pain of having to do that. So anyways, continue. Yeah,
definitely. So as you said, you have all these moments in your life where there's that fork in the road. When he planted that seed, I could have taken that and went with it.
Yeah.
But I buried it. And I'm like, I'm on this road. I can't get off this road. So even though you opened that door, I just kept on going past it. And I put it in the back of my mind. And every time fights would happen, it would flare up. And it was almost like I had to drown it even more each time. You know, it's like I had to suppress it down even further and further and further, because it was a painful reminder that I wasn't doing this, and I could if I chose to. So yeah, that almost encouraged me to drink that much more, to just distract myself that much more. And I did for years and years. And my buddy Mo, he was born with a heart defect, which I can't remember the name of it right now, but so he was in and out of hospitals his whole life, and that was just what we were used to. It wasn't anything weird whenever he was sick or in the hospital. That was just kind of the way it was. And we all knew that he needed to have a heart transplant eventually, or else he wasn't going to make it. But it was never something we really thought too much about, because we kind of figured he would, I guess, eventually get a heart transplant. It wasn't that serious of a thing in our minds. I think really we just didn't want to think about it.
Yeah.
When I look back,
you
know, it's like, oh yeah, I mean, you're going to get it eventually. And he ended up in the hospital again, which like I said, wasn't that abnormal of a thing. And then one day I remember my phone ringing, and they just said that he was gone. And when that happened, it was just another pivotal moment in my life where everything was just destroyed from a place that was already destroyed. It was like another layer, another tidal wave of destruction coming in that just like buried me. I was 18 when that happened. Yeah, and he was at 17, 18. So we were all around 17, 18 years old. Yeah, and then when that happened, it was just like the worst fucking thing of my life to that point. And that night, we all got together, my friends and I, and we were just getting hammered and trying to drink the pain away, you know, as we do when things like that tend to happen. And through my drunken coping, I had this epiphany. Like he didn't even get the chance to fail at a dream, and here I am, too afraid to even try, because I'm just scared. I'm using all these excuses. But my friend, he didn't even get to attempt it. You know, he didn't even get to do fucking anything. He fucking died. And that night I promised myself, I was like, I'm gonna go after this. Even if it's not for me, I'm gonna do it for him. I'm gonna live my life for the both of us from here on out, because I need to do that, because he didn't get to. I need to live his life for him, even if it's not for myself. You know, like fuck my life. I need to live his life for him. I need to do the things he didn't get to do. I need to use that energy and put it into something positive.